What's up guys, I'm here with another video. Welcome to episode 34 of Let's Build a City. Today we're building a modern hotel with a roof pool. So, yeah. Anyway, let's make a modern hotel with a roof pool.
Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a modern hotel with a restaurant and a roof pool. This video is long enough, so I'm going to give you guys the basics of this build and we can get started. Outside, we have not one, but two car parks. I know, starting off with the most exciting thing. We also have, on the ground floor, we have an outside restaurant and an inside restaurant, a kitchen, a fancy lobby area, and of course, plenty of rooms for different guests. The rooms are quite simple, they're split into two. We have a sleeping half with all sorts of amenities that you might still enjoy, and we have another half in which we have a bathroom and a bath / shower, a sink, and all sorts of other things that one might require out of a hotel room. We have elevators and stairs to take us in between floors. Each floor is laid out quite similarly to the previous and next floors, with variation in colour and material choice for each one of the hotel rooms. And last but not least, we have the top floor, which is, well, just kind of the roof, really. And I did consider adding a water slide that took us from the roof down into the pool there, but I thought that might be a little bit too crazy, but you feel free to add that if you feel the need to. This is how much room you will need to make your hotel. Feel free to make the grid. Step 1.
I need to grab the materials, so we need smooth quartz, I think. Smooth quartz slab, I think it is. Light blue glass.
All the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid, if you've made it, and count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Begin by placing 4 blocks of quartz on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, I'm specifically using the smooth block of quartz. Extend to the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend down to the ground, and then continue extending to the right by an additional 5.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5. Extend down, and then continue extending right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then join down to the ground. Extend the 6th block to the right by 10.
10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grab your smooth quartz slabs and extend to the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend backwards by 9. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Stick a smooth quartz block on the end and join it down to the ground. Now, just to make sure that everything is measured out correctly and all fine and well, and some parts of this hotel are easier to make once others have been built first, we're going to come all the way to the start of the hotel once more, and we're going to extend this rope upwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to extend to the right, and we're going to join down to the second row of block of quartz that we ever placed. So you can see the second row of block of quartz that we ever placed that joins vertically down to the ground. Or I suppose it's the third, but you guys can see exactly where we've got to join it. Now, I want to take the corner of the road that we extended down and extend it backwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which we can then extend across and join back to where we very first started, like this. We should even be able to connect this down to the ground. If we make any little mistakes, we'll be able to correct them later on. Perfect. So another thing that we want to do is we want to extend the corner of this block down as well. So 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to join it to the front. We don't want to join it directly down into the ground just yet. We want to continue extending backwards, and we want to extend this corner. Not only did we extend it down, but backwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is significant because we should be able to extend this all the way over to the right and then down, which we can, so that's perfect. So everything is joining together rather nicely. It's always important to check. Okay, next we can take then the right side of the build here, and we can extend it upwards by another 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can extend it all the way over to the left, and then we can join it down again, like this. So you can see that we have increased the height now of that portion of the hotel. But we want to do a few more things as well. The row here that we extended down and then forwards, and we specifically didn't want to join it down to the ground. This row wants to get extended up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can join it to the back here, and you can extend it over to the left and join it down like this. Perfect. So just like this. And we then want to take the corner that we just extended left and down. We can extend this forwards, and we can join it to the very first row of the hotel, the vertical row. We then want to take this corner, extend it across by 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Actually 5, my bad. 5. And then we can join it down like this. And then we can join it backwards. And then we can extend these corners down. And I'm just going to give you a little second just to kind of like look at what we are creating here. So this might look a little bit weird now, but it will start pulling together really, really quickly. And the entire shape that we kind of like created for ourselves up here, like we want to extend this row, of course, backwards, and then join it back to the long row that we created going across the bill. We then want to extend this area here upwards by 4. So like the easiest way to do this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and join it across. And you'll be able to see a pattern forming here, in that we're kind of just like extending up the shape, and we're joining the corners down. Like some of the rows that we're extending down, the more interior rows, might be extending up the shape, and we're joining the corners down. Like some of the rows that we're extending down, the more interior rows, might get in the way a little bit later on, but we can always knock these things out, and we can change the shape of them. But what's important is that we end up with this area. So the entire idea here, and it might even, like if I add in some more guiding rows, hopefully you can kind of see how we got to this point, because it looks a little bit confusing to me, and I designed it, so that might help a little bit better, and even more so if we were to add a row across here, like this. Hopefully you can kind of like see the structure of the hotel a little bit better. So this is going to be the outside pool area. This is going to be a little bit of a balcony, and these are 2 additional floors. So hopefully you can kind of like see that a little bit better. Hopefully visualization helps a little bit. We have to create the entrance as well. The entrance to the hotel is this kind of like last pair of quartz blocks that we have. We want to take the corners of these where they kind of intersect between each other and extend them forwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Join them together at the end using a row of light grey concrete. Extend forwards a row, and extend the light grey concrete upwards a row. Join the quartz down to the ground on the left and right like this. And that's perfect. We can fill the top of this in with, I mean, kind of whatever you like really. It's inconsequential. Maybe some light grey concrete just to kind of like keep with the idea of it. I think that that's probably fine. That doesn't look too bad. And something else that I'm kind of itching to do as well is that now we have this kind of like entrance area for the hotel, and I'm quickly trying to find it on my plans. This is a huge project, so you can imagine how many like pictures and stuff I had to take. So I want to take this row of quartz block here, and I want to extend it backwards by, I'm going to start with 15 because then we can't go too wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So just an entire row of 15. We're going to make the... we're also going to extend this up because I want to create a very clear boundary here. And this is basically going to be like an interior wall, and it's kind of like also an... exterior wall as well. I'd like to build up a little bit of the kind of like outside dining area as well. So to do this, we're going to grab ourselves the light grey glazed terracotta. We're going to take this row here of quartz. This is the row of quartz all the way on the right. And we want to place a row of 4 terracotta left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stick a block of quartz on the end. Leave a gap of 1, grey concrete. Gap of 2, 1, 2, grey concrete. Gap of 4 going left, 1, 2, 3, 4, grey concrete, and then there should naturally be a gap of 4. Feel free to raise up the grey concrete by 2 rows. Also, the terracottas, also the smooth quartz. So it should give us this little area here. Now this is quite significant because we also want to have a row of block of quartz in the ground, kind of underneath the right side of this overhang area, first of all. And we'll have to restore some of this grass as well, because we're actually going to need a little bit of grass. So we want to, on the right side here, have a row of block of quartz just extending forwards like this. And then we want to continue extending the forwards. By 1, 2, 3 rows, it lines up with the entrance. Place quartz in there, and then we want to dig all the way over to the left, like this. And what row do we want to leave? Probably a row of 4. So probably we'll line it up with that grey concrete there. So that's perfect. And we're just going to place some light blue glass pane on the quartz like this. Perfect. And we should fill the top of this in also. So I'm going to recommend that for the floor for most of the hotel, except for the ground floor because that's a little bit more variable, I would like it if the hotel's floors, if we made a double floor, we could have like whatever materials we wanted in the hallways and in the rooms. But the way that I've designed the hotel, it's only got a single floor. I'll explain what that means a little bit more if you're not aware, but what it essentially does mean, however, is that we are a little bit limited on what we can do with the actual interior floors, because it will show through the materials we wanted in the hallways and in the rooms. But the way that I've designed the hotel, it's only got a single floor. I'll explain what that means a little bit more if you're not aware, but what it essentially does mean, however,
didn't mean to do that. I forgot this part was called slab. Whoopsies. So I'll just do this. Whoopsies. Honest mistake. Very, very sorry.
is that we are a little bit limited on what we can do with the actual interior floors because it will show through into the next floor. So that might be a little bit confusing, but I can probably clear that up in a little second. So I want to have filled in that overhang with quartz and then quartz slab. I want to then take the end of the road quartz here, join it down using oak fence, and in addition to that here as well, where we have the natural separation using the grey concrete. So what I then want to do is dig out underneath certain windows. So underneath these grey concrete areas here, we're going to leave this little gap here. This is going to be a walkway, so we can even add a little glass there at the top. And this little gap here, this is going to do is dig out underneath certain windows. So underneath these grey concrete areas here, we're going to leave this little gap here. This is going to be a walkway, so we can even add a little glass there at the top. And I just slowly want to start adding details because I guess it doesn't really matter when we get to this, but I just prefer to get this little part done now. I want to shape up the front of the hotel, and I'm filling all these windows in with glass, of course, as you can see. I want to shape this up. I want to give you guys a very clear vision on how this is going to look, even without the fine details, but I want to add things like that, so now you can quite clearly see that that's like an overhang, a canopy, on how this is going to look, even without the fine details, but I want to add things like that, so now you can quite clearly see that that's like an overhang, a canopy you might call it, I'm not sure, and I want to dig out the middle of this as well. And also between these rows of quartz here, we can replace these using quartz block. I still use slab, but it worked out well in the end. And then I'm going to dig out this entire area, sort of. I'm going to dig all the way over to the right, but I'm going to leave a gap of 3. So we're just going to have a little sliver of a footpath here on the right, and then I'm going to turn this into a little garden area. So the rest of the outside area here, I'm going to turn into smooth stone. So it's going to be perfect. So it's going to contrast a little bit nicely against the grass that we've made. Grey is also a contrast for this because we're using dark grey I should say. We're using dark grey, white and light blue glass primarily. So adding a little bit of a different texture using some stone and butter. Using a slightly different grey, it adds a nice contrast rather than making the floor just another white block or something like that. So here we go, that's cool, my bad, perfect, there we go, that's looking nice. So we won't be adding any more details to there just at the moment, but I think that in front of the entire hotel, okay, let's add 2 rows. Or actually a row of, I guess it goes to the boundary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smooth stone. And it's actually not as easy as it looks, hang on, it's a little bit more complicated. let's come to the entrance of the hotel, which is here, and let's extend this road forwards out the entrance of the hotel. 1, 2, 3 with the block of quarters. Extend to the left like this, and then join backwards. So we want to kind of like, we want to separate this area here once again. Which is here, and let's extend this road forwards out the entrance of the hotel. 1, 2, 3 with the block of quarters. Extend to the left like this, and then, which is here, and let's...
Hold on. Okay.
Extend this road forwards out of the entrance to the hotel. 1, 2, 3 with the block of quarters. Extend to the left like this, and then join backwards. So we want to kind of like, we want to separate this area here. Once again, I want to restore that glass. On the left side of the hotel, there is a wall. It's a single wall, and it's only 1 row high. This area here, you can replace it underneath the windows using quartz, and on the left side of the hotel, there is a wall. It's a single wall, and it's only 1 row high. This area here, you can replace it underneath the windows using quartz, and we can do the same to this little side window, like this. So this area, I want to leave grass, so that's why that was a little bit trickier, and we have this wall. However, the remaining area in front of the hotel, I want to turn smooth stone. Now, the reason that I was getting ever so slightly confused isn't the word, but like I was really trying to think of how we can do this. But we need some more materials, and we need a little bit more of the hotel. You see, the right side of the hotel is parking, and there's also some greenery, so I didn't really want to dig out that area there until we had made at least the side of the hotel. We don't have to make the back of the hotel, just we could really do the side of the hotel if we're going to be doing that. But that's not going to be quite yet, because I want to add some windows and such, and some more finer details is what I'm working for. Some more details to the front of the hotel. Like, I really want to get it looking, I want to get the structure right. Okay, for the entrance of the hotel, we're simply going to add 2 rows of light blue glass pane on the left and right sides. You guys know where the entrance is. I've pointed it out quite a few times, and it's also quite apparent with this big block of light grey. So we also want to, you guys know where the entrance is, to add 2 rows of light blue glass pane on the left and right sides. You guys know where the entrance is. I've pointed it out quite a few times, and it's also quite apparent with this big block of light grey. So we also want to have door handles. Favourite detail ever. I don't know why, I just really like it. End rods suspended in front of the middle of the doors. They just look like handles. It's perfect. We have to divide up this little area on the left side of the hotel. We can begin by adding a vertical row of walls. That already does a really good job. But on the left side here, we want to leave a gap of 1, and we just want to simply have another vertical row of quartz running up through the entire side of the hotel. It divides it up really nicely. It's a really nice detail. We want the same thing just on the side here, and it's actually present throughout every single floor because it marks out where the entrance is going to be for the floors. There's a floor system, and it's actually present throughout every...
I need to build right now the bowling alley. U-3. I don't think I'll be building the bowling alley because I'm building a hotel. Why are you saying to build a bowling alley?
Side of the hotel.
I built that in my old series.
Really nice detail. We want the same thing just on the side here, and it's actually present throughout every single floor because it marks out where the entrance is going to be for the floors. There's a floor system in the hotel. I mean, I probably didn't have to tell you that, but basically, I'm making this column here. I don't know what else to call it other than a column. Inside the hotel, if you can imagine, entrance is going to be for the floors. There's a floor system in the hotel. I mean, I probably didn't have to tell you that, but Basically, I'm making this column here. I don't. Let's call it from the column inside the hotel. If you can imagine, this is the entrance to a stairwell. That's the word, a stairwell. And this is where all of the stairs are in the front left-hand side of the hotel. In addition to that, there's just like a set of windows and such. So I'm just going to join this together just inside the hotel. So this ground level, the lobby here, doesn't really want the hotel. In addition to that, there's just like a set of windows and such. So I'm just going to join this together just inside the hotel. So this ground level, the lobby here, doesn't really want these walls, but every other single floor, I believe, can just have another row of that like walls, and it just helps to divide this up a little bit. We're going to fill this exposed part of the floor in using quartz as well. So this is what I call a balcony, and it is kind of a balcony. It's mostly for show, but you can get out here. And I just want to stick a little bit of light blue glass around it like this. I also want to add a row of vertical smooth quartz, a little bit of light blue glass around it like this, called a balcony, and it is kind of a balcony. It's mostly for show, but you can get out here. And I just want to stick a little bit of light blue glass around it like this. I also want to add a row of vertical smooth quartz block. This is parallel to the stairwell here. And just to kind of illustrate, like, this is going to be the entrance out to the pool. And then just to the right here is a window. There's a lot of windows in the hotel. I tried to make it look quite nice and open. To the right of this is going to be a bar area. I'm going to back this using light grey glazed terracotta. Every other floor above this, so literally just above this part, not floors in general, but these areas just above this, are going to be solid glass. I didn't want to use the window design that we used, like just wrapping around this front left-hand corner. I didn't want to use it too much. I wanted a bit of variation. And beyond that, this is probably like, let me think. Okay, so this is how we're going to get into... Actually, I might not even have that as the entrance. So, the entrance onto this balcony will probably actually be here. Or we could use this as a walk-through. Let's just fill it. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're not just like sat here doing nothing. I'm going to fill all of these windows in with glass. Every single one of them. Because all of the windows are, for lack of a better word, like marked out. Like we've kind of got like the frames of all of the windows on. We can figure out entrances later. We can figure out layout later. Let's just get all of this filled in with glass. We've kind of got like the frames of all of the windows on. We can figure out entrances later. We can figure out... Let's just get all of this filled in with glass, and all it will take is destroying some of it just to kind of like figure out the entrances and exits. And there's no reason why we really have to toil over that very much. But in doing this, I will point out, and I'm sure that you guys have realised, like, this is the most detailed portion of the build. Like the front of the hotel, I mean the side of the hotel to some extent. Every single part of this hotel, unlike perhaps some of my other builds, like every single part does have some form of detail all the way around it. This isn't really meant to be lumped in with a bunch of other buildings. It can, but it requires its own space. Like a lot of my other builds are able to be placed next to each other. They're able to be condensed. This one, not too much. So there we go. You can see that we've laid out all of that glass, and it really pulls everything together. Like it really, like now you can kind of see how this is coming together nicely. Another portion to think about is that this area up at the top here has to be extended backwards just a little bit more. We want to extend backwards by an additional 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you're able to get onto the roof, you see. So we can extend this corner back as well. Here we want to create an entrance out onto the roof, so that's simply just going to be 1 row. And then we'll have to extend this across as well. But this is how it's going to look. And the roof, we're just going to have a little bit of quartz slab just here, extending across just so that it kind of like reaffirms that this is the top level here. Going to look. And the roof, we're just going to have a little bit of quartz slab just here, extending across just so that it kind of like reaffirms that this is the top level here. We can extend the quartz across the back as well, and there's an elevator, so the elevator sits in, you can see how this kind of divides in half here, so like it divides here, and we can extend this backwards, like we can take this middle row, we can extend it back, it divides in half almost perfectly, well actually perfectly. And then this, we can extend this backwards, like we can take this middle row, we can extend it back. It divides in half almost perfectly, well, actually perfectly. And then this area will probably just have filled in with quartz, but this perfectly, well, actually perfectly. And then this, we can extend this backwards, like we can take this middle row, we can extend it back. It divides in half almost perfectly, well, actually perfectly. And then this area will probably just have filled in with quartz. But the side we can use a little bit of grave the elevator. I mean, I guess we could actually do the same thing here as well. We could leave this side open, and then we're just going to have kind of like, we're going to create the divide in the window, and then we're going to have glass everywhere else. Perfect. So that's looking pretty nice. So we'll leave that there at the moment, and we will focus more on the front of the hotel again. I know it gets so much attention. So, the front of the hotel. How is best to do this? We have to divide the area up into rooms. If we start on the right here, just because this is how the plans are laid out, and we take this middle row because it's easier to work with, we want to leave a gap of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 block of quartz. And then another gap of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 block of quartz. Gap of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 block of quartz. And then this last row will be a gap of 5, but it's an abnormal room, so it doesn't matter, you can just leave it as is. So these vertical rows of quartz that I'm placing now are going to divide up the hotel into rooms. The hotel has a lot of rooms in total. Don't ask me how many. Let me see if I can calculate it quite quickly. It's got 2 rooms on the front here, and then on the back it would have 3 rooms at the bottom, 3 rooms at the top. So however many that is, 3, 3, 2. Why is my math bad? 8 rooms, I think. And that might even be miscalculated, but it's something similar. Okay, so on the front of the hotel, the rooms have little balconies, so they're actually nicer rooms, really, or worse. If you don't like people watching, then I guess they're worse, but we want to divide these up a little bit. Guys, I had to stop recording for a second, so I've lost my train of thought. However, we have been working on these windows, clearly. So these windows double as little balcony windows as well, and these rooms stack on top of each other, and they're almost identical. So this room's balcony is here, this room's balcony is here, this is a little window here on the left. This room probably wouldn't have a balcony, so we'll just seal this up with glass, but this one here on the right, if we just add a little bit of smooth quartz slab, then we can add some light blue glass pane in front of it, and there we go, we've got a balcony. We could even add perhaps like a little bit of glass up at here on the right. If we just add a little bit of smooth quartz slab, then we can add some light blue glass pane in front of it, and there we go, we've got a balcony. We could even add perhaps like a little bit of glass up at the top, but we also want to fill it in just there on the left. So you can see how these rooms sort of lay out. And also there's two portions to these rooms, so there's kind of like the part people sleep in, kind of like chill out in and what have you, and then there's bathrooms. So the bathrooms also have the rows of grey concrete, and they have windows just up at the top here, and these sort of remind me of Ravagers for some reason. And then we want to simply just fill the lower portion of these rooms in using quartz. So for obvious reasons, like, you know, you don't want people looking in whilst you're taking a bath or a shower or whatever. So that's kind of like a complete set of rooms. Like, that would be the living space, that's the bathroom area, and then we repeat it just here along the left. So on the left, we also want to have the vertical rows of grey. We want to have the same thing here, so we might even have this here as well. So obviously, like, this end room is ever so slightly bigger, but I think that we'll still keep the grey concrete in the same place. And then for the bathroom area, we want to have, of course, the two rows of quartz just at the bottom for the kind of like privacy measure, and then we want to have glass pane to cover up the windows. The left side of the living sort of areas want to be glass, a privacy measure, and then we want to have glass pane to cover up the windows. The left side of the living sort of areas want to be glass. Above here we want to have smooth quartz slabs with glass pane in front. Fill the top in here with glass, and then underneath we can completely fill this area. Above here we want to have smooth quartz slabs with glass pane in front. Fill the top in here with glass, and then underneath we can completely fill this area in with glass, because all of the rooms, by the way, like, you might be thinking, oh, this is kind of not private because we've got all of these glass panes. You're probably not thinking that, but I really got into
Hello, Lucas Lee Links. Welcome to live stream.
I guess. And we're going to put curtains up anyway, so people won't be able to see into the rooms. I don't know the weird things I think about it. Across the entire area here, kind of like the outside pool area, and we don't even necessarily, like, we could have a row of quartz or light grey concrete here just so that looks a little bit less scruffy. And then we can place the light blue glass extending across and kind of like joining like this. So that looks quite good. An alternative to that is to delete two rows of grey and simply connect the glass over there, but it's very, very minute detail, doesn't even matter. Now that we've done that, we're going to move on to the side of the hotel. There's not much detail on this side of the hotel, but there is a little bit of detail, just not so much in the building, but they're still in the building. Grab a smooth quartz block and come all the way up to the top of the hotel. Take this block and extend it backwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend it down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark out this row. Down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark out this row. We want to extend these rows across by an additional 1. Join them up. Join them back. Like this. We then want to we kind of want this design, and then we want to extend the horizontal rows of quartz across, each by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then let's just extend it up and join it to the top, and then extend the through row. So the end result is this. It sounds sort of difficult, right? But it's not. It's very, very easy. So we then want to extend the hotel backwards by a further 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll notice that hits the boundary if you've made it. The rest of the hotel, not including these holes, or at least the rest of this portion of the hotel, I've got to get into the habit of saying that. The holes here that we have made, these are window frames, so they can be filled in using glass. They basically just look into a hallway. I just wanted it to look here that we have made, these are window frames, so they can be filled in using glass. They basically just look into a hallway. I just wanted it to look a little bit nicer. The rest of the area can be filled in with quartz. You may be wondering to yourself, why isn't it that the windows extend down to the ground? Because this hotel has a kitchen, and we can't have those same windows in the kitchen. We might be able to add windows there, but there's going to be some decoration outside here anyway. So now that we've done that, we are going to actually let's mark out the part of the outside here. So we are going to have 2 rows of smooth stone that sit on the side of the hotel that come all the way back and are parallel with the quartz and the glass on it. So like this. So we have the 2 rows of smooth stone. We then want to have another 2 rows of smooth stone. This is just in front of where the car parking section will be. And the rows of smooth stone want to be 6 rows long in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Perfect. So we now want to extend these last 3 rows that kind of, that are just that were empty and boring. We want to fill them in with grey concrete, and we want to extend them all the way to the back of the hotel. It's worth mentioning there's going to be a wall back here. It's going to be 2 rows of smooth quartz block across the back here. So it's going to be a wall like this, the hotel. Kind of, that were empty and boring. We want to fill them in with grey concrete, and we want to extend them all the way to the back of the hotel. It's worth mentioning there's going to be a wall back here. It's going to be 2 rows of smooth quartz block across the back here. So it's going to be a wall like this, and again, like this back portion of the hotel, like it's a car parking space. We're going to have some greenery. There's not really anything at the back. The hotel, like it's a car parking space. We're going to have some greenery. There's not really anything at the back of the hotel, but you could, if you did want to. Now we can always add this at the end. If you did want to, you could make additional car parking spaces. Like if you did feel as though, because the hotel stops here, but you could quite easily like knock out a portion of this wall. Perhaps even add another one, and then we could have like a one-way system of. I mean, you could even have like we can discuss the details of it later, but back here you could have just more car parking spaces, and I might even add that just to kind of like put a little bit more of an end on the hotel, like because then we could also have like. We'd have to change the road and stuff, but we could have something similar to that if we wanted to. I'll give you guys the option because it does feel as though that the hotel just needs a little something more. I might be wrong, but we'll see. We're not locking ourselves into anything. But the grass part, where the smooth stone path ends, I want to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smooth quartz into the ground, and then extend backwards. Grass part. Where the smooth stone path ends, I want to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smooth quartz into the ground, and then extend backwards like this. Like so. So this will extend across and then join back. Car parking spaces, pretty much everywhere outside of here wants to be dug out, but we do need to create some rows as well. Like, we just have to create where some cars are going to go, and that's pretty much it. I wanted to just make it look, like, I didn't want the entire site to just be car parking spaces, and I did just want to make this feel, I don't know what it was, maybe like a little bit more tropical. No, I wanted it to feel like that a little bit more like it's like, just kind of like boring car parking spaces. So we're gonna mark out car parking spaces by placing a smooth block of quartz gap of 3. 1, 2, 3. Quartz, 1, 2, 3. Quartz. We're gonna mark out car parking spaces by placing a smooth block of quartz, gap of 3. 1, 2, 3. Quartz, 1, 2, 3. Quartz, 1, 2, 3. Quartz, 1, 2, 3. And we'll end there. The quartz will extend backwards, and it will basically be like in line with, and it will just join to the grey concrete that we've already made, like this. Perfect here, and then here as well. Grey concrete that we've already made. Natural end there. The quartz will extend backwards, and it will basically be like in line with, and it will just join to the grey concrete that we've already made, like this. Perfect here, and then here as well. Grey concrete in between the rows, like this. Fill in all of these in, and the only part that we're not going to fill in with grey concrete is just here. So you could, if you wanted to, you could make this grey concrete, or you could alternatively like extend this forwards, and you could have like a slightly bigger green area. That's something that we might do. We could even add a hedge to it, actually. That might be a nicer idea than what I had planned. But I don't really want to add the fine details. I do just sort of like want to have this laid out at the moment, which we're doing a good job of doing. I'm quite happy with how this is going so far. So let's go to the back of the hotel now, and let's sort out some of the details with the back of the building, because it's a little bit there's some stuff going on, quite honestly. So on the back of the hotel, we can kind of just like extend the top of the back of the hotel across. Like we can extend it all the way across, and we can join it to the front of the hotel. So just like this. And we can also join the corner down as well, just because it helps me, and it might even help you to kind of like imagine like just empty spaces like this and then fill them in. So like make big spaces and then smaller and smaller and smaller. We have to make some divides. We're going to do this at the bottom of the hotel. So we want to go to the right. We have to make some divides. We're going to do this at the bottom of the hotel. So we want to count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mark this out with quartz. Count 1, 2, 3. Mark it out with quartz. Count right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mark this out with quartz. Count 1, 2, 3. Mark it out with quartz. Count 1, 2. Mark it out with quartz. Count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Mark it out with quartz. Count 1, 2. Mark it out with quartz. Count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mark it out with quartz. Count 1, 2, 3. Mark it out with quartz. 1, 2, 3 again. Mark it out with quartz. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, guest gamer 566 official. Welcome to live stream.
Mark it out with quartz. 1, 2, 3 again. Mark it out with quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mark it out with quartz. 1, 2, 3. Mark it out with quartz. So you can see that we now have all of these rows of quartz that we have, and we want to join them up to the boundary of the hotel, so all the way up to the ceiling area. And this is going to help us divide things quite nicely. So it takes a little bit of doing, but all of these windows and all of these areas have significance to them. I think it just looks like, instead of just plastering the hotel with just smooth quartz, as I might like to, it does look a little bit better when it is divided up a bit. So, I mean, you could even use one, you could use some different materials. You could add like a bit of grey and stuff in. I might add a bit of grey just to change things up. So, there's a few things these areas have in common. There are three of the 4-row wide areas, and the first one is over here on the left. So the way that we're going to fill these areas in is quite simple. We will place 2 rows of grey concrete, glass, quartz, 2 rows of grey concrete, glass, quartz, 2 concrete, glass. So it'll look like this. And we want to have the same thing present throughout all of the wider spaces. So 2 grey concrete, glass, quartz, 2 grey concrete, glass, quartz, 2 grey concrete, glass. And again for the other 4-row wide, 2 grey concrete, glass, quartz, so on and so forth as we extend up above the building. In a little second, but you can see how those areas are pretty much taken care of. So we have the other areas. These are very easy. When we place the quartz, we want to have quartz placed horizontally throughout the entire back of the hotel. So where we have the quartz, we can extend the quartz horizontally throughout the entire hotel. So just like this. And it divides the hotel up into floors. You'll notice that we crack on a little bit later, but there we go. Perfect. So now suddenly, if we continue now to fill in all the grey concrete areas, I think that's how I'm going to do it as well, by the way. I'm kind of just going to extend across. I'm going to do all of the grey, and then all of the glass, and then even more. Like everywhere that's not like the grey and the quartz is basically just glass. So that's what we'll be doing. So here, and here, and here. And then we can extend the glass across, destroy these two. Here. Accidentally placed those here, and you guys might have even noticed that there is a little bit of a pattern here, and that it's very similar to the front of the building, sort of, and the rooms are divided in the same way as well, so I guess they're in reverse, but all of the grey concrete areas are kind of like bathrooms, and the other areas, which we are now going to look at, are the kind of like, I guess the living room's the wrong word, because it's also like a bedroom. Plus, it's also like a place to be around. Like, it's a few different things, but you know, like, you guys know what I'm saying. Like, the sleeping area is different from the bathroom area. You can see how it's laid out very similarly to the front, however, possibly in reverse. I'm liking my decision to add the grey. I think that it makes a good change. Originally, it was just quartz, but as I was making this, I was like, the front has grey concrete as well, so why? To the back. I actually quite like it. It also, I might even change it on the front. I might see which I like better. I might swap things around visually on the front, or I guess it is also nice though to have like variation. So I was going to make the front look kind of like similar, because I don't know why, I just sort of like that, but maybe we'll leave it there. Now all we have to tackle is this side of the building. So this is the left side of the building, and it's quite easy to do again, quite honestly, because we've reached this point, everything's quite easy. We have to separate the floors. We're going to do that horizontally. You guys know where the floors are, maybe by now. It's everywhere that we have the horizontal rows of walls. If you extend them throughout the entire hotel, kind of like that, it sort of lays itself out. We have two vertical rows of quartz up here. These want to extend down throughout the side of the hotel. these are multi-purposed. So some of these rows are for the, let's just make that as well. Some of these rows are to separate the elevators. Some of these are the space in between. These are staircases. This back portion here, we have to create another window. Along the bottom of the build here, I'm just going to replace this using quartz. And we want to have a gap of 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4 glass. Stick some smooth quartz block on them. Along the bottom of the build, some of these rows are to separate the elevators. Some of these are the space in between. These are staircases. This back portion here, we have to create another window. Along the bottom of the build here, I'm just going to replace this using quartz. We want to have a gap of 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4 glass. Stick some smooth quartz block on the end. Extend this upwards like this. You'll notice that these windows are parallel to the windows that we have all the way over there. This back portion of quartz, we want to just completely fill in with quartz. Reason being is there's a decent amount on this wall, but not every single part of the hotel has to be exposed. However, this part of the hotel is going to be exposed. We're going to fill this portion in with glass all the way up from the bottom, all the way up to the top. So here, and here, and here. There's only, I guess there's technically 4 floors to this hotel. It's not too big. We're going to add light grey concrete. Now, this is because this elevator's inside here, so I'm just making this light grey concrete. An alternative would be to use grey concrete, because we've already used a little bit of actual dark grey. But variation. Plus, you can change it. And I might change a few things about that, but concrete, as we've already. Now, this is because this elevator's inside here, so I'm just making this light grey concrete. An alternative would be to use grey concrete, as we've already used a little bit of actual dark grey. But variation. Plus, you can change it, and I might change a few things about the hotel, but stick with this for now. One last thing, and then this whole side can get filled in with glass. We want a vertical row, 2 things. We want a vertical row of quartz block that is opposite the row of quartz block that we have over there. So you can see it divides in the same sort of way, can get filled in with glass. We want a vertical row, 2 things. We want a vertical row of quartz block that is opposite the row of quartz block that we have over there. So you can see it divides in the same sort of way. We're going to delete the white concrete that we have at the base, although white wouldn't be bad because it is slightly contrasting to the quartz. But anyway, I'm going to fill this in, and then I'm going to fill in the remaining, I'm going to fill these windows in with light blue glass, like this, here, and here. And then I'm going to fill in the remaining, I'm going to fill these windows in with light blue glass, like this, here, and here. So, remaining windows are going to be light blue glass, like this, extending from the bottom all the way up to the top. Here, 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 and here, and so on and so forth. We want to do this here, 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 here. I should stop saying here because it is a lot of glass. It's okay, we've almost done. So, there, I've just swapped the word there for here for there. There we go, so that's this side of the hotel. It's okay, we've almost done. So, there, I've just swapped the word there for here for there. There we go, so that's this side of the hotel. That's perfect. And in having done that, we've laid out the structure, and it's all really good. Like, I love the actual structure of this. Like, we've laid out a good amount of the structure of the hotel now. I'm going to add smooth quartz slab around the top of the roof section, and I want to fill this in also. And what do I want to fill it in with? There. I've just swapped the word there for here or here for there. There we go, so that's this side of the hotel. That's perfect. And in having done that, we've laid out the structure, and it all look really good. Like, I love the actual structure of this. Like, we've laid out a good amount of the structure of the hotel there. I'm going to add smooth quartz slab around the top of the roof section. And I want to fill this in also here. And what do I want to fill it in with? It has to make sense as a ceiling because it's also the ceiling of the rooms. I might just, you know what, I might actually use white concrete. I think I'm going to use white concrete because concrete works too. Let's use white grey concrete. Okay. So I don't want the insides of the rooms to look weird. Right, like these rooms I don't want to look up at the ceiling and there'd be some sort of weird material like smooth stone. Like I wouldn't like that. But I also don't want the ceilings to be white. Because they're white in a lot of other places, but I don't want the ceilings to be white. So I think that light grey concrete is the way to go. Grey concrete itself is probably a bit too dark. So we're going to go with the light grey. It's a good contrast, it's not too dark, it's not too light, it's not too textured, it'll look weird as a ceiling, so that's what we're going to do. And there's a good portion here to add. We should also add a ceiling to the... And we could do a couple of the structural things as well whilst we're at it. So we want to, now that the roof is kind of like filled in here, then we've got this area. So this can just be, we can fit, you know what, actually we'll just seal this all with smooth quartz. That's fine. That's fine, that's perfect. Appealing to the, and we could do a couple of the structural things as well whilst we're at it. So we want to, now that the roof is kind of like filled in here, then we've got this area. So this can just be, we can fit, you know what, actually we'll just seal this with smooth quartz. That's fine. That's fine, that's perfect. This vertical row of smooth quartz here, like next to the grey concrete area, we can extend this down all the way to the ground, like this. And smooth quartz here, like next to the grey concrete area, we can extend this down all the way to the ground, like this. And then this is going to be the elevator area here. I think that that's right in doing that. I think that I can do that because the elevator is only 2 rows wide, and it kind of follows along from this line, right? And then there's like 2 rows of smooth quartz. So like we can have 2 rows of smooth quartz that travel all the way up through the building like this, right? And then we can have the 2 rows of light grey that also do that. You can't actually get in the elevators, by the way. I should point that out. So it doesn't matter that it will look a little bit weird on the inside of this because no one's going to see it anyway. So there we go. And then we've got the natural splits between the floors like this here, like this because. And then we can have the 2 rows of light grey that also do that. You can't actually get in the elevators, by the way. I should point that out. So it doesn't matter that it looks weird on the inside of this because no one's going to see it anyway. So there we go. And then we've got the natural splits between the floors like this here and here. We could even have, where did that slab go? We could even limit the, like we could just add this to the tops of the elevator, some quartz slabs. Might look a little bit better. And then we could even limit the, like we could just add this to the tops of the elevator, some quartz slabs. Might look a little bit better. And then we also have to have walls, by the way. So here. So basically another vertical row of smooth quartz block, just to kind of like chop things up. And we could even use some light grey glazed terracotta. I don't like to try and say things too quickly because that's not what it said. So light grey glazed terracotta. I'm going to extend that all the way up. We don't need that exposed on that board. For the wall, I think I'm going to make it grey concrete. Like this, because this is a wall, I'm just going to have stuff placed on it. I want a contrast, so that's exactly what I'm going to have. I'm going to have grey concrete, this is all the way through the floor. And you guys might be thinking to yourselves, like, this is a weird thing to hear about. You'll see later why it matters a little bit more than you think. So, The ceiling, there's enough windows on the sides that we don't have to make skylines. So I reckon we're just going to make matters a little bit all the way through the floor. And you guys might be thinking to yourselves, like, oh, this seems like a weird thing to hear about. You'll see later why it matters a little bit. So the ceiling, there's enough windows on the sides that we don't have to make skylines. So I reckon we're just going to actually just fill the tops of this in using quartz block. I also think that we're going to lay out the inside a little bit more before we start moving on to, again, what I keep calling like the finer details. Like, I want to sort out more of the structure of the inside, probably not all of it, but a bit more. Actually just fill the tops of this in using quartz block. I also think that we're going to lay out the inside a little bit more before we start moving on to, again, what I keep calling like the finer details. Like, I want to sort out more of the structure of the inside, probably not all of it, but more of the structure on the inside before we tackle any of the finer details. Because the finer details is kind of like the fun part where we get to do some different things. But actually, that's my least fun part. But the most fun part for me is actually making the floor. The floor's a big deal. We don't have what we need for the floor, but the grand majority of the floor is going to be made out of red concrete. I shouldn't jump the gun with it though, because not all of it is. The majority of it is. Let's make some stairwell, okay? So the stairwell, it's here. I already said actually, so the stairwell now, okay? So the stairwell, it's here. I already said actually, didn't I? So the stairwell's here. It's kind of like this little corner. Kind of like built into the hotel. We want to have a row of, by the way, quartz block that runs opposite the row we have on the front of the hotel like this. And we're also going to fill this side of it in with glass as well. I might be making a mistake. I might be making it hard on myself. Stairwell, okay? So the stairwell, it's here. I already said actually, didn't I? So the stairwell's here. It's kind of like this little corner. Kind of like built into the hotel. We want to have a row of, by the way, quartz block that runs opposite the row of quartz that we have on the front of the hotel like this. And we're also going to fill this side of it in with glass as well. I might be making a mistake. I might be making it hard on myself by doing this, but let's make it into quartz like this. And the cool part about this part of the hotel is that we can give it its own floor material, which I want to be red concrete because in my mind it's red carpet, despite the fact it's concrete. But pretty much like this entire area, everything from the elevator, I almost called it. Some people are scared of elevators, so I suppose some people might refer to them as elevators. I'm not scared of them, but I'm not sure that I'd be. You guys have a look at the trapdoor, like up at the top of the elevator. I'm not sure I'd be able to squeeze through that. I might get trapped in there permanently if the door's going to open. But anyway, this front area here, the carpet, despite the fact it's concrete, but pretty much like this entire area, everything from the elevator, I almost called it. Some people are scared of elevators, so I suppose some people might refer to them as elevators. I'm not scared of them, but I'm not sure that I'd be able to get through that little trapdoor. If you guys have a look at the trapdoor, like up at the top of the elevator, I'm not sure I'd be able to squeeze through that. I might get trapped in there permanently if the door's going to open. But anyway, this front area here that I'll call the lobby, I guess it is that. I'm not only calling it the lobby, it is also the lobby, regardless of what I call it. So this is going to be red concrete. And again, the majority of the downstairs is as well. I'm thinking about the rows underneath the glass here. I'm thinking we'll just make them quartz. Even though, yeah, because technically speaking, despite the fact that we have kind of like a bit of glass pane, all that's missing is a bit of glass pane for that to make it like a full door. The only reason that there isn't glass pane in the middle is because we need to walk through it, but in real world, obviously, the entire door would be glass, and we use the handles to obviously open the parts of the door. So it would make sense to me that it would be quartz underneath there rather than red concrete, because it's a stop rather than just an extension on the inside. Now again, we're getting into minutiae that doesn't matter whatsoever, but I like quartz underneath the glass doors, and that's what so now again, we're getting into minutiae that doesn't matter whatsoever, but I like quartz underneath the glass doors, and that's basically what that boils down to. So weird. And then in front of the lift here, I'm going to make this red concrete as well. And it's not to say, by the way, that there won't be more red concrete on this ground floor, because there will be, but I want to divide it up into rooms and such first. But before all that, I've got this area. So this is going to be glass for the most part. I'm going to make it so that we nip up onto this floor. No, we can't. So let's start on this. We need some stairs as well. Oh, I have them. Okay. So let's make the inside here red concrete, and then we'll add the stairs as well. So the stairs are rather easy to do. They're the same for to divide it up into rooms and such first. But before all that, we've got this area. So this is going to be glass for the most part. I'm going to make it so that we nip up onto this floor. No, we can't. So let's start on this. We need some stairs as well. Oh, I have them. Okay. So let's make the inside here red concrete. Then we'll add the stairs as well. So I'm going to make it so that we nip up onto this floor. No, we can't. So let's start on this. We need some stairs as well. Oh, I have them. Okay. So let's make the inside here red concrete, and then we'll add the stairs as well. So the stairs are rather easy to do. They're the same for every single floor. They look like this. There is one quartz stair here, two quartz stair here. You could even use a slab, and then a slab in the corner. There is one quartz stair here, two quartz stair here. You could even use a slab, and then a slab in the corner, and then one quartz stair here, two quartz stair here. Does that make sense? And then red concrete here, here, and then fill the middle of the floor in. So we leave this kind of, there are the stairs as well. So the stairs are rather easy to do. They're the same for every single floor. They look like this. There is one quartz stair here, two quartz stair here. You could even use a slab, and then a slab in the corner, and then one quartz stair here, two quartz stair here. Does that make sense? And then red concrete here, here, and then fill the middle of the floor in. So we leave this kind of like shaped piece here to allow us to walk between the floors. So if we can actually copy that here onto the next few floors, and then it might make the stair placement and it might sort of like make things a little bit easier somehow is is this filled in? Is this the top floor? I guess it is. Okay. So here on the top floor, I guess it's a little bit different. We will need to be able to break into this portion here. It might even be more practical for us to enter every floor on this side as well. But I like it here on this floor specifically. I don't know why. But I think we'll seal up just above this. So anyway, the stairs are in the same place regardless on every single floor. There's two of them stemming from this way. I don't know from here. It might even be more practical for us to enter every floor on this side as well. But I like it here on this floor specifically. I don't know why. But I think we'll seal up just above this. So anyway, the stairs are in the same place regardless on every single floor. There's two of them stemming from this corner. Quartz slab here. Stair. Stair. Come round to this side. Stair. Stair. Slab. Onto this side. Stair. Stair. Easy. So I'd like to have a look at it from the outside because it's quite important. I mean, it wants to look good from the outside, right? Perfect. So that's nice. We've got all of the sets of stairs. We've got no more glass pane than we have to. We'll make this the entrance onto. Maybe we'll have two entrances, so we'll be able to get out onto the balcony via that way and that way. I'm quite happy with that. Now that we've done kind of like the stairwells, and we've kind of got the elevators sorted out, maybe we should fill just in front of these elevators using the smooth cut. Oh, we could make it. We could actually, but then the ceiling is red, and that's weird. Ah, okay. Alright, so I'm just going to fill in between these elevators using smooth quartz. And again, so this is what I mentioned earlier, right? I mentioned that we've got like we've not got double floors or double ceilings. We've only got singles. So if this were, say, a double ceiling in the, like we had two rows between the spaces of every floor. Have a ceiling material, which I would prefer to be something like quartz, but that would need floor material above it, which would be very comfortable. But it'd be everything would still work out nicely because there'd be two rows in between the floors, and we don't have to worry about what's above or below us as we're adding these in. Again, little minutiae. So this area here, going to be using some smooth quartz instead. This is inside of this little column.
What? Yeah.
It's kind of like, so this is the entrance to the bar, so this is, we don't want to have this road here. What else can we do? So, little column. Again, this is kind of like, so this is the entrance to the bar, so this is, we don't want to have this road here. What else can we do? So we can extend the row. We can extend these rows of quartz backwards as well. So here and here, because these are hallways. So these are going to. So we can extend a row. We can extend these rows of quartz backwards as well. So here and here, because these are hallways. So these are going to be hallways that leads to, so they'll be leading to the rooms. What else? So this is going to be a divider for the rooms, so leading to the rooms. Hallways. So these are going to be hallways that leads to, so they'll be leading to the rooms. What else? So this, okay, so this is going to be a divider for the rooms. So this long wall of quartz we can actually extend upwards, and this will be the first division between Actually, it's not the first division, but it's a division between one of the rooms and like the bathroom. So we've got this here. We can also add a dividing row of courts here. So like this row of courts here can actually be extended back, and it can line up with that row. And then this will also be a dividing row between. Got this here. We can also add a dividing row of courts here. So like this row of courts here can actually be extended back, and it can line up with that row. And then this will also be a dividing row between kind of like the bathroom area and the more so living area of the hotel rooms. This is also going to act as like a kitchen wall. As I mentioned earlier, this hotel has a kitchen. This row will actually, by the way, extend all the way back. This will actually extend all the way back on this particular, on the first floor anyway, so you should probably stop at 4 rows, but all the way back. Is there an easy way? So also for these rooms, the rooms start opposite, like on the other side of this glass area, so you can actually mark out where each one of the rooms are going to go with some rows of quartz block, just extending back, or rather to the side of the room. So here, rooms, on the first floor anyway, so you should probably stop at 4 rows, all the way back. Is there an easy way? So also for these rooms, the rooms are opposite, like on the other side of this glass area.
Alright, guys, my dinner's ready, so I'm gonna go, so bye guys.